Sally, one of the areas of the book that it's not fair trigger, I definitely feel we can all relate to, and I want you to tell me a little bit more about Erica.
Erica, I've got a couple stories in the that relate to the trigger of it's not fair, which is so common. Every one of us has been triggered by the idea it is not fair at some point. But my favorite one is Erica. Erica is a woman who was brought into a company to head up to co-lead a incubation project at the bank she was working at, financial services company. And she was paired with a fellow that she thought, well, okay, he's fine. You know, it's kind of a straight arrow type. It was supposed to be a very creative enterprise. She contributed most of the ideas. It became very successful. When they turned it into a real division, she was not chosen to lead it. He was. And she felt profoundly that it was not fair. She felt he'd been brought in because he was a guy, and she resented it. And she could not get over her resentment. And this was a problem for the team because they weren't working that well together. And this is a problem on many teams where people feel a resentment towards someone. I should have gotten that promotion. So she was really struggling with that, went through a lot of things with it. It negatively impacted their relationship, to say the least. And so one night she was heading home, and she heard him talking about a new bakery that had opened. And she thought, oh, I'll stop by. Because she was going to buy a treat for herself.
Right.
Because she was feeling bad. And she stopped by the bakery, and they had this big, gorgeous-looking cream pie. And she went in, and she bought it. She took it home. And it occurred to her that what she needed to do was eat humble pie. I'll let you finish the story.
Yeah. So should we tell everybody? Okay, I'm going to the big reveal. I'm Erica.
You are Erica.
So it's really interesting to hear you tell that story. And I obviously can do it with a little bit more detachment than I could at the time. I would say I remember having a stand-up in the hallway conversation with this person that I called Mr. Status Quo. That, you know, if I was Miss Innovator, he was Mr. Status Quo. And I remember him commenting on sort of the heat in my face, my eyes being just like whelmed with even just having a calm conversation with him in the hallway. I think that's one of the things that really prompted, like, this is not good for me. Yeah. This is not good for him. And then to your point, this isn't good for the team. Yeah. So when I decided, and I had that epiphany, I needed to eat the humble pie. And I sat down with him, and it was actually a little bit around performance review time. And I was dreading that conversation. And I thought I needed to take charge of this conversation. Mm-hmm. As often we tell people in HR that conversation is your opportunity as well. And I have to say, when I gave him the humble pie, and it just released so much between us. And it ended up creating an authentic conversation. And it wasn't a conversation where I didn't actually admit to him, this was really hard for me. I respected you before you were my manager, so I don't think there's a reason why I can't respect you as my manager. And that we then had a conversation about his career path, and that he was seeing his career path as mine. And then when I became more open, that mine might be different, and being more honest with him. And then he became, at that point, an ally and started to come up with ways in which my career might be different than his at the company. And then within a short period of time, I was exploring options, but in a fun, light, focus on my strengths kind of way. And he and I today are still friends and connections. And I do think that moment really was an opportunity for me to kind of take all the energy around, that tight jaw, whatever I was doing with my eyes that I couldn't even relate to, and just transform it into something more positive for myself too.
We need ways to deal with this that are lighter and that allow us to explore other parts of ourselves, and that ultimately And I think this is really the point that are empowering.